Hello there, Patia. It's Dr. Ian, the Doc, and Paul.
Yes, the Jock.
So, this is a Doc and Jock show.
Yes.
Right.
Very informal one tonight.
Since when have we been formal?
It's true, yes, yeah. But what I mean is, normally, we're there for the business networkings and such like. But this tonight harks back to the days prior when I came on PMTV, when you used to do a show when you went around all the pubs and go-go bars.
Night Beat it was
Night
called.
Beat, okay.
Yes.
Right. So this is almost like the same thing, but
It's hedonism.
it's hedonism. at
That's
its
what
best.
we're here for. Bring it on.
Yes, but no go-go's tonight.
No.
We're here because...
No go. No go-go's.
Okay. We're here on Soy 6 on Pratamnak at a new club which is called The Mood.
The mood. I'm in the mood.
In the Mood, right.
Yes.
And the owner, Peter Wingassa, I believe is the correct pronunciation.
Yes.
He's a man, a bit like yourself. He's a foodie. He loves good food. And he's a wino, I mean a wine aficionado. But he also loves music.
Indeed. He has a collection of guitars.
Ah, yes.
Now, why would you have more? That's like having more than one car. You can only drive one at a time. You can only play one guitar at a
How
time.
many cars do you have? Yeah, okay.
4.
Yes. All right, okay. No, but that's it. If you've got that passion, and for you it's motor racing, for Peter it's music, right? But specifically here at the Mood, it's blues. Yes.
All right. Why don't we get him to come in and tell us about it?
Yes, let's find all about it. Here
Okay.
at the Mood on Soy 6.
Don't run away. We'll just go and get him. Okay, stop talking. We're on. We've actually got him, the Peter Wingassa himself. Welcome to the program, Peter.
Thank you, Dr. Ian. Thank you, Paul.
Right, we were talking guitars. How many have you got?
Oh, God, I didn't count them. Must be around 20, 25, something like that.
So, how do you justify having 25 guitars? You can only
And
play
not
one
even-
at a time.
I cannot even play one. Now, it's an obsession, you know. I'm so much into music of the 60s, and then when you're into 60s music, you got to be into guitars as well. So that was the reason. I'm collecting memorabilia, and of course, guitars belong to memorabilia, and I like the things that have a history. You know, not buying somewhere and hanging them on a wall. It's about history, and it's about telling a story.
So, tell us your famous brands that you have. You got a Les Paul?
Yes, I got a couple of Les Pauls. I got a couple of SGs. I got a couple of Strats, of course. So Fender and Gibson are the my favorite brands. And these are the guitars that have written rock history.
But you play.
No,
I mean,
I'm not playing.
You don't play.
I'm not
So
much of a player, so I just collect them.
You just collect.
Yeah, right.
Like, can you imagine that, Doc? You were saying you got 4 cars. Imagine having 4 cars and you've only got a motorbike license.
Yeah.
Or in this country, you've got no license at all, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, what particular period of music is it that you like? You mentioned the 60s, but I mean, there
Yeah, I
were
grew
lots
up-
of different kinds of music in the 60s.
Well, I grew up in the 60s. I mean, I was born in 1950, and I grew up in the 60s, of course, and that was the best time in rock music. So all the groups, were popping up like mushrooms in the UK and the US. And but I was also into blues music because my brother-in-law had a huge blues record collection, mostly pre-war, and he taught me about the blues, about all the blues, singers and about the stories and about the history of blues, and so I got into it. And at the same time, I started collecting guitars.
And now, Paul, you're the music guru of the Patio Mail. You must know the sort of major players in the blues.
Actually, blues is something. I think there's something quite. I'm struggling for the word. Blues and jazz are something that I don't have a lot of in my music collection. However, any city in any country in the world, I would always look to see if there's a blues and a jazz club, because when it's played live, it can't seem to be replicated on CD or vinyl or whatever. And okay, it's great if you were there at the concert and then you get the disc of it or whatever, but to see it live, and when I say see it, I mean see it, not just hear it. When you actually see the process of it, there's just something so fantastic about it, and the blues is that, because it's storytelling anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, right, yeah. I agree with that, absolutely. It's, when you listen to the blues songs, they are telling a story. And even nowadays, there are musicians like Robert Cray, who is perfect in telling a story, about a relationship, about his life that he's, not satisfied with, and of course about love and losing a woman and whatever, and yeah.
No, it is great. Actually, you mentioned Robert Cray. Have you heard that Chris Rea did a whole box set called Blue Guitar? Now, Chris Rea is known as sort of popular artist in the UK.
You should know Chris Rea because he was a good racer as well. He's a good motor racer. Yeah,
that's right. He was. And he released this.
I saw him driving the Porsche Cup in Monte Carlo one day. A couple of years ago. Yeah.
But he did this box set, and it's something like 9 or 10 CDs, and it's called Blues Guitar, and it kind of charts all the different ways that blues have came about. It's really interesting, and it's kind of, it's historical, And you were saying in the 60s, but you were listening to pre-war, and that's back before when music started as publishing, and before even vinyl and stuff. It's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I got into jazz music, which is very interesting as well. I mean, all the stories. If you see that, I call it the Wall of Fame. All these guys, like Fats Waller, like Duke Ellington and Benny Goodman and all these guys. Louis Armstrong. He was essential for the influence in jazz music and in blues music as well.
Okay. So, what's your number one blues artist?
It's hard to say. Yeah, that's very hard to say.
What's your number one tonight? Because it changes as your mood changes. It's a bit like women.
As your mood changes. Oh, I like. Oh, yes, you brought that in well. Mood. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I mean I'm an Eric Clapton fan. So my brother took me with him to see an Eric Clapton concert in the late '60s, which was 1967, I think. At that time, he was playing with John Mayall, which stuck to, ethnic blues at that time was very unusual. I mean, we had the beat groups, but John Mayall he really stuck to ethnic blues, he called it, which was, for a white guy unusual anyway, because most of the blues singers were black. But he did very well, and Eric Clapton was one of the guitarists who played for John Mayall, like Peter Green, who then founded Fleetwood Mac, Mick Taylor, and so I'm a big Eric Clapton fan. And
what about jazz?
Jazz, I really like the sound of Artie Shaw. I like clarinet sound. I like Sidney Bechet. I like, of course, Louis Armstrong. I like Benny Goodman. Yeah, so...
you haven't mentioned Chet Baker yet. I'm a little bit disappointed here, Peter.
Okay, of course, him as well. No, but, there are so many guys, and there are so many tragic stories about that as well, If you see, for instance, Bix Beiderbecke, I mean, a young guy, a white guy, who played the trumpet as Louis Armstrong did. And he died at a very young age, at 29. You know, there are so many stories to be told.
It's the same with Chet. Chet, was a brilliant trumpet player and a good-looking guy. Yeah. And he got attacked, I think it was in a gents' toilets in Paris, where it was two guys kicked his teeth in, not just to disfigure him, but so that he couldn't play the trumpet again, because you needed, he lost his front teeth, and I forget what the term is that trumpeters use, but, so that he couldn't play it. But he overcame it. Yeah. He was like, I'll still do it,
Yeah, Chet, Sidney Bechet, for instance, he got arrested in Paris in 1927 or 1928, something like that, because he had an argument with a drummer about a chord change. And he pulled out a pistol and he said, "We're going to settle that in a duel." And he didn't do that in the morning, at 6 o'clock in the morning, where you usually do that. Yeah. He did that during rush hour. And,
because of a chord change.
Yeah, right? Because of a chord change. But you can see how serious they were about their music.
Okay, all right, let's bring it back to
real music.
Yes.
Tell me about AC/DC.
Yeah.
I tell you what. They are one of my favorites. I never fancied them, but I saw them live in 1987 in Munich in the Olympiade. And from that day on, I was infected. And you got to see them live, and they are great. I love them.
Yep. See? Us headbangers.
Are you a headbanger?
I am a headbanger.
Are you really? Okay. Well, I like a bit of AC/DC, and in its right place. Usually with some girls cavorting around a steel pole. Okay, let's talk about the resident band that you have at Mood, who they are, what the lineup is, and when they play.
Yeah. So the resident band is Slow Ride. It's Ken Minahan, which is, very well known in Padilla on guitar. He's been playing for, I think, 45 years. So he's on the road for 45 years. He's from Chicago.
But he's known as Snowman, right?
Snowman, right, yes. He's a professional. And then we have on bass Tony Stevens, who played with Foghat and Savoy Brown. He's a legend. I mean, he really is a legend. I mean, he sold 20 million albums. So, they are all professional. Then Oi on the drums, which I think is one of the best blues singers in Southeast Asia. I mean, you got to hear him sing. It's amazing. He used to play for a Thai recording man, so they all found together and they formed Slow Ride, and they are together now for 6 months. And I was lucky enough to hire them, and because I wanted to have a professional band. I didn't want to have any garage band or whatever. Sure. I wanted to have a professional band, and so
you've got one.
Yeah. One of the good things is because these are kind of veterans in a sense. Yeah.
Careful there, careful.
It's the same with the good wine,
But there's a compliment coming. What's missing is the egos. These guys just get up there to play and enjoy themselves, deliver the music, and they enjoy themselves
because they don't have to show anything. Exactly. Yeah, and they don't have to pretend anything because they've done it before.
A million times.
They've been there. They have been there. Yeah,
been it, done it, or had one.
Yeah.
Okay, so they play. How often are they playing?
They play 3 times a week on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and and on the rest of the days we don't have live music, but it's planned to have live music because there's a big jazz and blues scene in Bangkok as well, and I have a lot of requests of groups that playing in Bangkok. They want to play this club as well for one nighter, and we're negotiating, and yeah.
Well, I think that Padilla is screaming out for something like this. I mean, I love, especially live music, and it doesn't matter what it is. I remember seeing in Saxophone Pub at Victory Monument, there was a bunch of brass musicians from Mahadon University, and they came on at 11 o'clock at night, and they rocked the place, and they're classically trained musicians, and they're fantastic. If we can get some of that down in Padilla, I think this is a real winning formula.
Yeah. Absolutely right. I agree with you.
We have to say where it is. We've said the word mood. We're in the mood, and the mood's in there. But where is it?
Yes, exactly. Well, I'll tell the viewers if you don't mind. We're on Soy 6 on Pratumnack, so if you came off of Tapria Road coming up, it's really the first road on the left, and you come pretty much all the way down to the end. How far from the end are we?
It's about 300 meters to the end of the soy and 300 meters to the beach.
Okay. Now it forms part of the Tep Tip Mansions. So there's a sign for Tep Tip Mansions. There's a sign for Mood by the time this goes on air, and you've got to come and check it out. This is on there. We're just above the road level, because some people have had a problem finding it, but it's one of those places, once you know about it, you're going to be telling all your friends.
Well, as long as they get to Soy 6 Pratumnack, not Soy 6 Soy half dozen, the other one.
That's right, yeah. As we always say when we're in the company of our wives or girlfriends, we're having a meeting between 5 and 7, which means we'll see you on the 6. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, really, should I? No, mate. Have now.
All right, Peter, I hope it goes very well for you.
Thank you.
I mean, you've got a good house tonight.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we should also mention that you're going to be serving breakfast here.
Yes.
And you will also be doing light meals in the evening as well,
Yes,
right?
right. That was the original intention, to have that place open for food. So we're going to do that from the 1st of February on. We're going to serve a breakfast from 8 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock. Then we close for 6 hours until 6 o'clock. And then in the evening, it's a fun part. It's, live entertainment and
Okay, cool.
And live food.
And live
Yes.
food, yeah.
Peter, thank you very much indeed.
I have to thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Excellent. Cheers, mate.
That you wanna know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, oh, my. Whoa, whoa. I love you so. Something you got, babe, makes me stay home at night. Something you got, babe, makes me feel alright. Something you got, babe, that you wanna know. Whoa, I said, whoa, I love you so.
Well, Paul, I tell you what, it's been a fun evening.
Guys, I'm definitely in the mood. Yes.
In the mood,
Yes.
yes. I mean, for me, a self-proclaimed headbanger,
I can't believe that, actually.
to sort of come to somewhere like this and suddenly find, all right, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
The music is infectious.
Yeah, it is. The good thing is, I mean, the music's great. These guys are brilliant. Inside the club, it's it's pretty full on. It's quite sort of loud. Outside here, on this deck area, you can still hear the band. You can still have a conversation. Obviously, if people want to smoke or whatever. So it's great. It's a nice place to hang out.
And with our current temperatures, it really is nice outside, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed. Yeah. No, I think he's on. I said it earlier. I think he's on to a winning formula here, and it just places like this. It needs public support, and that you get this all the time. People say, "Oh, I was going to go there, and I'm meaning to go there." Do it.
Yes.
Get on your motorbike, get on a taxi motorbike, go and do it. Come along. As Peter said, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they've got the live music, and and hopefully in the future they'll be visiting bands. Come along, because places like this, they only exist if people support them. And then people say, "Oh, I wish there was a blues club or a jazz club." Well, there is. Yes.
It's here.
Yeah, now
It's
go-
called The Mood.
Yes, get off your backside and get in the mood.
Yep. Okay, folks, you've got the message. It's The Mood. Thanks, Paul.
See you again, mate.